All right, you battlers, you know what it is. JayDevin back at it with another Go Battle League video, speculation video, I guess, of a potential Pokemon for Gen 6, also known as Kalos, right? So Kalos, pretty sure it's Kalos, but I decided, I mean, I've kind of had, I think it's obvious, I've had kind of a lack of motivation to create specifically Go Battle League content in the Masters League, namely because I do honestly feel like it's a little more difficult for me to be and remain competitive without some top picks, also without having my, Dialga best buddied and double booped. It is what it is. I don't want to talk anymore about that. That's not what this video is for. This video is going to be kind of speculation. I figured, why not do something like this? It's going to be a little refreshing. It kind of breaks out of the bounds of Go Battle League a little bit, and I don't normally do speculation videos. I don't think I ever really have done that many speculation videos, but I started to look into other generations since, as you know, Gen 6 and I believe Gen 7 did get added to the code recently. Now, I guess word of caution, that does not mean we're actually going to see them or get them anytime soon. They were just put into the code, but that makes people think a little bit and wonder on how some of these Pokemon could potentially be used. So for this video, I did look a little bit into Gen 6 because I'm not familiar with these later generations personally. And I found 5 Pokemon, at least in particular in specific. That's kind of a running theme with some of my videos, is 5 Pokemon, but it is what it is. 5 Pokemon in Gen 6 for this video, specifically in the Great League, that I think look really good and also have, a lot of potential for PvP in Pokemon Go, for the Go Battle League, right? So number 1 on the list could potentially end up being a personal favorite. I don't know, we'll just have to see how it works out. My biggest concern about this Pokemon is its movesets that it'll get access to, right? But that one is Diggersby here. So Diggersby, as you know, is a normal and ground type Pokemon. Well, I guess if you didn't know that, now you do know. What a funny looking Pokemon. I love how Diggersby looks. So the first thing to note, I guess, it will be pretty expensive, considerably expensive, because it does max out currently just above 1509, 1500 CP. It maxes out at 1509. And by the way, real quick, I should have said this earlier too, but all the resources I'm using to pull this information and to provide this information to you are going to be linked in the description below, namely Pokemon Database and Pokemon Go Hub. So, as far as the accuracy, as far as like combat power and whatnot, that's all accurate. But also, I guess another disclaimer or word of caution is this could always change. If they do another stat rebalance, then this entire video will be null and void, but I don't think they need to. But anyways, Diggersby. So it's a normal ground type Pokemon. It does max out at 1509 combat power. So obviously it'll be weak to fighting, grass, ice, and water. Its resistances go without saying. You're going to want to match it up against electric and or ghost type Pokemon, also potentially poison and or rock type Pokemon, okay? But its movesets actually, they do scare me a bit, but it could potentially still be really good. So its movesets that it'll learn in the main series games, just by leveling up. It does actually have access to Mud Shot. So it does have access to Mud Slap. I mean, really all these picks for this video, it's really just going to be a matter of what moves it actually gets, unfortunately, but at least this is what I'd like to see for these Pokemon. So Mud Shot could be very good as a fast move. Obviously, it does have access to Quick Attack, I guess, which isn't that good, but it's not terrible. Tackle is terrible. Please don't give it Tackle, but it does learn Earthquake just by leveling up. So, it is possible we could see Diggersby get Earthquake, but I think the moves for it that have, the most potential are learned in the main series games by TMs and also by TRs, so by Technical Machines and Technical Records. It does get access to Sand Tomb by Technical Machine. I do like Sand Tomb as a move, specifically on Garchomp, but that could be fun. But specifically for Great League PvP and Pokemon Go, the moves that I would love to see Diggersby get are learned in the main series games by Technical Records, and not by leveling up. So, it is kind of iffy as to whether or not it'll even get these moves, but it would be very nice. So it does get access to Body Slam, and it also gets access to Earth Power. Okay, so normal and ground type Pokemon in Great League PvP that could have Mudshot, Body Slam, and Earth Power, could have a lot of play. It could be, it could have great matchups against pretty much everything. Obviously, it's going to be weak to water and ice, are both pretty good relatively in the Great League. And it is still weak to that normal, so I don't think it'll be dominating, but I feel like Diggersby is going to be one of those type of Pokemon that if you get it in the right matchup, or if it sees the right matchup, it can do very, very well. And I mean, it has Body Slam. What Pokemon in Great League PvP that has Body Slam do you not like to use, right? Okay, moving on to the next Pokemon. Oh geez, of course, I forgot to mention that this is the next Pokemon that I want to talk about. It's Floette, but previously on Diggersby, and this applies to all the Pokemon too, their stat spread, how it's currently calculated for Great League PvP, is another major reason why I'm choosing them, and also their potential movesets is I think what really makes them considerable and why they've made it into this video. But Floette, it looks like it should be a grass type, right? Or at least part grass type. No, Floette is actually just a pure fairy type Pokemon, so could be pretty interesting, right? We know that some pure fairy type Pokemon can be very, very good and can have a lot of use in the Great League, and definitely as well in the Ultra League, right? Clefable and Granbull can be can be good in both the Great League and the Ultra League, okay? So it's a stat spread. Floette, again, pure fairy type Pokemon, has a max combat power of 1532, so again, could be pretty expensive to use this Pokemon and to get it, but that's it's pretty good. Its stat spread is fairly decent as well. Max attack of 136, which isn't amazing, but that's definitely not terrible either. Its defense and stamina are both above what the attack stat is, which is ideal. It'll have more bulk. So really this could be one of those picks that's, that could have potential like neutral matchups. And as always, depending on what movesets it could potentially get. So let's look into what movesets it'll potentially get. So it's not actually looking amazing, to be honest, from what I'm seeing for Floette. As far as movesets, just by leveling up, I don't really recognize any good moves and or major playing moves for Floette, unfortunately. I mean, if it does get Misty Terrain, which is a fairy type move, and Fairy Wind, which is a fairy type move, both of those we don't have really in Pokemon Go yet. And it does actually get Razor Leaf, I guess, so it could be a Razor Leafer potentially, but it's not grass typing, so it will not get same type attack bonus, which potentially for Razor Leafers in Pokemon Go PvP, having that attack bonus could be huge. It just depends. It could have niche application, but it's not looking good so far. It does also get Vine Whip, which could be great for energy generation as far as fast moves, but that's I don't know how I feel about that. It does also get Dazzling Gleam by means of Technical Machine in the main series games, which that's a good sign, I guess, but Dazzling Gleam doesn't honestly have that much use in Pokemon Go PvP. Even though it can hit really hard, it is just a very expensive move. So the potential I see with it obviously is because it is pure fairy, it does have access to a lot of grass moves that have use, that could see a lot of play, but really I would like to see it have a fairy type fast move. It doesn't get Charm as far as I can see, but it all, I think it all weighs in on Fairy Wind. If and when we get Fairy Wind, how is it going to work? And how's it going to be used as a move in Pokemon Go? I really hope it's going to be that is kind of a contrast of Charm, right? Because Charm generates energy pretty slow, but does a lot of damage, right? It's kind of like Razor Leaf in a sense. So the complementary grass, or the contrast as far as grass moves of Razor Leaf and or Charm for this example, is going to be Vine Whip. So if Fairy Wind potentially, is a Vine Whip clone in Pokemon Go, that would be very nice. I would actually see a lot more use out of a Pokemon such as Floette. Right. The next Pokemon on this list could be a huge performer and a huge favorite, potentially could be a household name for Pokemon Go PvP in the Great League, and potentially for the future of Go Battle League, and that is Shield Form Aegislash. It's Steel and Ghost typing. It is going to be another one of those potentially really expensive picks. Does have a max combat power of 1,595, but its stat spread I think has huge, massive, insane potential. This could be one of those, lockout Pokemon that if you get it in a matchup that it wants to see, it is just going to shut the opponent down very, very well. So, the attack 97, the defense is 291. Again, this is at, the max combat power, so wouldn't actually, reflect in real application, but still that, the general levels will be the same, right? It's very, very defensive and has decent stamina and a low attack. So that's very, very, very ideal for Great League PvP, right? And the Steel and Ghost typing could be huge as well. So obviously it'll be weak to Dark, Fire, Ghost, and Ground, but its resistances are just absolutely nuts. Edge-Slash Shield form it laughs at poison and normal type damage, takes basically nothing, and as well it laughs at bug type damage, and it resists so much. I mean, as I look at this list, it is resistant to Dragon, Fairy, Fighting, Flying, Grass, Ice, Psychic, Rock, and Steel. That is that is completely nuts. Yeah, the Shield form specifically for that stat spread is what you're going to want to go for. And, you know, as far as its moves, to look into those real quick, potentially for a Great League PvP, it's not, unfortunately, it's already not looking amazing. So it's moves that it can learn in the main series games just by leveling up. It does get Sacred Sword, which we have Sacred Sword in the game now, so that could be interesting, I guess. It does get Shadow Sneak, so it does have a Ghost type, same type attack bonus move that it's very likely to get. Most of these additional moves, I don't think we're going to see it get unless they get added into the game. It does also have access to Fury Cutter, gets access to Aerial Ace, does get access to Iron Head. I believe its signature move for the most part is King's Shield, which that is just a status, you know, like a status move or an effect move. So if they add it, just depends on how King's Shield would work. It does have more potential, I think, in the moves that it learns in the main series games by means of TM and or Technical Machine. It does learn Hyper Beam. It could get Rock Slide. It does have access to Shadow Ball by means of Technical Machine in the main series game. So, I'm sorry, not Shadow Ball, I mean Shadow Claw. So if it gets Shadow Claw, then that can make it very, very good indeed. Oh, okay, I apologize. It does actually get access to Shadow Ball, but in the main series games, that is by means of Technical Records. So, we might not get it. We might, you know, if it got, let's say as an example, Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball, and then Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball, and then Sacred Sword, that'd be pretty good. That would have a lot of coverage. It could also get, you know, Iron Head as well. It does also have access to Flash Cannon, Close Combat. Gyro Ball is not that good. I don't know that I'd love to see Gyro Ball, but they might give it, you know, some of those moves that aren't amazing just because its stat spread and its potential application could be very, very amazing. So I'd like to see it at least get Shadow Claw, but you never know. You never really know. If we had that moveset, that's definitely what I would go for, would be Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball, and then Sacred Sword, which is why you'll see these movesets featured up here. But again, this is a speculation video. It's not even a guarantee that we're going to get any of these. So moving on. And the next one on the list is none other than Carbink. This one could be very, very interesting. It's a very, very unique Pokemon. I like how it looks. It's a floating rock with like ice or diamonds on it and just has a mustache thing, kind of, I guess, and then two little beady blue eyes. It's awesome. I love it. I'm a fan. But it is rock and fairy typing, which that's very unique. We don't have anything in the game with that typing currently for Pokemon Go. Obviously, it'll be weak to grass, ground, steel, and water. It does get absolutely destroyed by steel damage, right? Because it has that double weakness. So it'll take 256% damage from steel typing. But again, it's one of those potentially really expensive picks. It does have a max combat power of 1467, but its stat spread is kind of similar to Edge-Slash in the sense that it's very low attack, very high defense, and then okay stamina. So 95 attack, 285 defense, and then 137 stamina. And as far as its moves, it does automatically get access to some moves just by leveling up in the main series games that we already have in Pokemon Go, and we already know they have use and they could see some play. So it does get access to Rock Throw, but more importantly, it'll get access to Smackdown, which could be huge. A lot of Pokemon with Smackdown in Pokemon Go PvP, if they see the right matchup, can just completely dominate other picks, right? So it does get access to Ancient Power, which is not that impressive, right? Ancient Power was recently nerfed. It still does get the same potential boost, you know, so you could have some cheeky boost plays with it, but we'll just even see if it gets that or not. Does also have access to Power Gem, which is not amazing in Pokemon Go, but it does get Stone Edge. Stone Edge would be, I think, a lot better to see. It does also get access to Moonblast, so, you know, potentially could have double charge moves that both get same type attack bonus and are a little expensive, but also okay in terms of output and energy efficiency. The moves that it can learn, I think that could be applicable by means of Technical Machine in the main series games. Some of them are kind of interesting, actually, I guess. So it could potentially be a Pokemon that learns hidden power. I would honestly hope that's not the case, because I think it's very likely we're going to have it with Smackdown. And as we know, it's currently impossible to have a fairy type hidden power. So that's not, I don't think that'd be amazing. But really what I'd like to see potentially is it does have access to Rock Slide by means of Technical Machine in the main series games. So that's definitely a better charge move than the other ones. I think that'd be huge. And then it also could have access to Dazzling Gleam by means of Technical Machine, which again is not amazing. Like, it can hit really hard, but its higher energy cost in Pokemon Go PvP is not exactly ideal. But I think that would potentially be okay with a pick like this, just because it's already so tanky. You know, it at least gives it an option to fight back. Now, by means of Move Tutor, it does have access to Earth Power, which could be very, very interesting. And all the other moves that I can see, it's we don't even have them in the game, so I can't really speculate that much on those ones. So Carbink, you know, I do think it looks interesting. It looks fun. It does have potentially a very ideal, you know, stat spread. It could see a lot of application, but honestly right now I think it's just one of those picks that if it doesn't get the right moves, it's just not really going to see play. It might not have that much play, but it definitely makes the list simply because of its moves potential and its very, very ideal stat spread for Great League in Pokemon Go PvP. Now, on to the next one, and actually the last one, and probably going to be the most controversial one in this video for Gen 6, right, for the Kalos region in Pokemon Go PvP for Great League, is Amara. I want to say it's Amara. I think that's how you say it correctly, is Amara. So this Pokemon looks really, really interesting to me. It looks like a lot of fun, and also it's just adorable. I mean, look at it is so adorable. It's like, I don't know what that looks like, but it's insanely adorable. Okay, so Rock and Ice typing could be very expensive potentially, but it currently has at level 40 max combat power of 1363, and its stat spread is this is why I say it's a little controversial, because it's kind of low defense, I guess. So, you know, if it gets matched up against a Steel or a Fighting, you will get completely destroyed by both of those, because you would take 256% damage from both of those. So, you know, this could, I guess, potentially be a strong lead. Definitely not a safe swap kind of pick, but we'll see. We'll just have to see. It does have potential. But attack of 124 at 100% max combat power, defense 109, and stamina is 184. So now, the reason specifically that it made this list, besides it being adorable, it's insanely adorable, but really though, the reason it made this list, due to its typing, its Rock and Icing typing, is very interesting. Definitely could see a lot of application. It's actually not amazing typing, especially with the current meta, right? It could be a very risky pick, but I think where it can make up for that and recover that potentially lost ground is all of the crazy, in my opinion, the crazy good moves it could potentially have access to for Great League Pokemon Go PvP. And as well, I still don't know why I'm mentioning this now and not before, but, you know, potentially reaching level 50 was also added into the coding for Pokemon Go. I don't know that we're going to see that anytime soon, but if and when we do, you know, some of these max combat powers and or picks like this that actually max out below 1500 could actually see more use. They'll be a lot more expensive, obviously, but they'll potentially be better. Okay, so its ideal moveset, I'll throw right up there so you can look at it, and we'll look through some of its potentials here. So Powder Snow, right? There's a lot of great Pokemon already in Great League PvP that can learn Powder Snow. Mamoswine, Celio learns Powder Snow. Celio's great. There's too many to just list, but does have access to Powder Snow, so that's a great fast move in Pokemon Go PvP for the Great League for energy generation, and it will get same type attack bonus from it. Could also get Rock Throw potentially, which it's not, again, Rock Throw is not amazing, but it's also not terrible. Now, Icy Wind, right? If you're watching this video, the chances are you already do Pokemon Go PvP and or you're already interested, so you probably already know exactly what I mean by just saying Icy Wind. We'll just leave it at that. I guess for those who don't, Icy Wind has a guaranteed defense debuff every time you use it, and it's very low energy cost in Pokemon Go PvP too. So it does get access to Icy Wind. It does get access to Aurora Beam, which is not good. I wouldn't want to see that. Ancient Power, which could potentially be good, but again, since it was nerfed recently, it wouldn't be that good. Now, it does also have access to Avalanche, which I really like the sounds of that. I see a lot of potential from a Pokemon like this learning a move like Avalanche. And these, I'm sorry, again, these moves are just by leveling up, so it's very likely we could see all those moves for that Pokemon in Pokemon Go PvP when we get it. That could be it could be fun. It could be a really fun one to use. We could get new moves, and or all the moves could potentially change. So, as we look through this, I wouldn't necessarily make any plans or start saving for these picks specifically. This is purely speculation. So take everything with a grain of salt. Yep. In the main series games by means of Technical Machine. Kind of interesting from what I'm seeing so far. Could learn Thunderbolt, right? So it could potentially have some kind of coverage, I guess, some coverage moves. Could learn Bulldoze, that could be interesting. Does get Frost Breath, I don't know that I'd want to see that much. Does get Flash Cannon, that could be interesting, as well as Dark Pulse. Yeah, some of the other moves I can't really speculate on too much at all because we don't even have them in the game. So let's see, by means of Move Tutor, it could learn Aqua Tail, which is not amazing as a move, but that also could still be interesting. It could learn Outrage. That would be very... That doesn't seem like a Pokemon that I'd want to have learn Outrage. It's so cute. Outrage is like a dragon move. It's a Dragonite move, right? It's a Garchomp move. It's a Salamence move. Angry Pokemon learn Outrage. So it'd be really funny to see, I guess, to see this get Outrage. That's it, I guess, for this video and for all those potential picks that I looked into. I did actually enjoy doing this video. I learned a lot from it. I think it was just fun to do, period. Hopefully it was fun to watch. So depending on how well this video performs, if it gets, enough likes and stuff like that, then I definitely would be willing to make this same kind of video for the Ultra League and the Masters League for Gen 6. So, if you would like to see that, I would definitely like to make that video. If you would like to see that, please leave a like on the video, share with your friends, whatever you got to do to help the video perform a bit. But yeah, I still see a lot of potential in Gen 6 that we haven't even touched on, right? Sylveon is available in Gen 6. A lot of people have been very much anticipating Sylveon, and there's so many other picks that could just be amazing too. So that is, I guess if you're curious about my progress in the Go Battle League right now, currently we're still in Master League. I have definitely recovered and or regained a lot of lost ground that I tried from using picks like Magnezone and Palkia. So I'm back up to 2783, still not the highest I've been even in the Master League. I'd like to realistically hit 2900 before we have that week in between seasons where we can play in any league. And then my last chance, or I guess my last hope, is going to be that week in between to push for rank 10. So if you're stuck in the same boat as me, I wish you luck. Do the best that you can. Trust your gut and just use a team that you're comfortable with, that you like and you can win with. Yeah, battlers, that is it for this video. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you feel my vibe. Power up, punch the notification bell for all that PvP content. We'll see you in the next video. Have a good stinking day.